like to introduce you to this lovely map that we are selling at Sharon Historical Society only for $5. It is map from 1890 and it is a little bit over 18 by 24, but you can trim it and fit it in regular size frame. So there are lots of details in this map, but I found it hard on this screen. So I just wanted to introduce you how beautiful map it is, and I will tell you a little bit more about certain details that you can see in the map. I show you present day Sharon. So this is border of the town of Sharon. This is north, south, west and east, and the map from 1890 is basically upside down. So I just quickly want to make you familiar with Sharon. So Sharon has got other smaller towns bordering Walpole, Foxborough, Mansfield on the bottom, Easton, Stoughton and Canton. If I zoom in, here is our jewel and pride, or beautiful Lake Massapoac. This is what we call center of town, or Post Office Square, which is not a square at all. And then we have two main routes going through town. So from north, from Norwood, that's Norwood Street, and past the train station it changes into Depot, and then Billings, East Street, and that joins in Bay Road. From the south we have South Main Street, crossing the train tracks, coming to center of town, and then joining Route 27. Here from the center of town, it's North Main Street going all the way to Cobb's Corner. Another thing that I would like to mention here is our beautiful lake. So the lake is about 350 acres. We have a community center here that I will mention, and we have one camp here, one here. So we have two wonderful camps at the lake, and this is our memorial beach right next to high school. Pretty cool, right? And on the bottom, on the south side of the lake, we have community center and another beach right here. So if I go back towards center of town, so from the lake you would go via Pond Street. We have train tracks right here from Boston, train station right here on the bottom of our beautiful hill. Then it crosses South Main Street, and then it goes down towards Foxborough. Another thing to note about Sharon is our incredible Moose Hill right here. So that's part of Mass Audubon now, and it is beautifully preserved land. I will mention it as well in the video because it was quite important for our history. So this is the beautiful map. I will try to do kind of short introduction and point out a few places that I would like you to recognize. I will sneak in some pictures as well. I apologize for the quality, that it's kind of blurry, but my idea is that you will fall in love with the map and come to Sharon Historical Society and purchase it. So here is the center of town. This is Depot Street. So imagine you're coming from north. So even though on the map here it's south, but it's north. So right here you're coming on Norwood Street. There are train tracks here, so there's train station. Then you go up Depot Street and Billings. That will eventually meet East Street. If you're back at the center of town, you can go down on Pond Street to the lake. And this is North Main Street. That goes all the way to Cobb's Corner. And here is center of town, and this is South Main Street. So basically the center of town is intersection of North Main, South Main, Depot, and Billings Streets and Bond Street. So now I will try to zoom in and introduce you what we see here. So this is the center of town. Here is the famous beautiful fountain. I'm not kidding, that's the fountain. That's awesome. Across the street, so this is where our library is, but there used to be a famous tavern called Savills, eventually Johnson's. Fountain right here. You can see Unitarian Church. You can see Baptist Church. You can see Betty's store. This is Brian's store. That was post office at one point as well. You can see Congregational Church. Here you can see the standpipe, or I call it water tower. This is Depot Street. So imagine you're coming from north. So even though on the map here it's south, but it's north. So right here you're coming on Norwood Street. There are train tracks here, so there's train station. Then you go up Depot Street and Billings. When you go down Billings from the center of town, there's one interesting building right here. This was Stoutenham Institute that was founded by Sanford Billings. You go down the hill and you come to Man's Pond. Man's Pond was very important in town. It was one of the first, not first, but one of the first privileges from Lake Massapequa. There was a mill. and that burned down twice, and unfortunately it's gone. And this was a ice house. And right here, that was dye house. It's not the best picture, but you can still see the granite base there. This is interesting feature. This road actually is not there anymore. So this is Deborah Sampson. And this is East Street. And this house is William R. Mann's house. This will be Men's Hill. I believe that this is most likely the workman's house. Billings, that will eventually meet East Street. Two more properties that are right here just outside of the map, and that is a house of Deborah Sampson, house that Deborah Sampson's son built for her, and a schoolhouse, East District Schoolhouse, which is very close. If you're back at the center of town, you can go down on Pond Street. To the lake. So if you go further down to the lake, you will come to Memorial Beach. So Memorial Beach wasn't always the way we see it now. The beach street right here was much closer. I think in 1930s it was taken by eminent domain and was put right here. And that's why we have beautiful beach. This is the famous Octagon House. However, we had another Octagon House right here. I think that's right past the Massapoac Lane. I think it's 14 Massapoac. If you go down Massapoac Avenue Street right here, it was called Street. You will get to what is now Dubinsky Road, and you will get to our amazing community center, which used to be an incredible modern hotel with overlooking the lake with many amenities. It was also called Sunset Lodge. This was a boathouse, I believe, and right here it's not very visible, but that was another ice house. I think we had 5 ice houses for sure that I know of. There were probably more smaller ones. We are Back in the center of town, and we will go down towards Canton, Cobb's Corner. So the North Main Street right here is pretty short. I mentioned the churches. So if I continue down on North Main Street, this would be School Street, and that is school that used to be there, that used to have 2 floors. Now it's building just with 1 floor. Right here across the street, so this is School Street, North Main, and this was parsonage of First Parish Church, Reverend Philip Curtis. If we continue down, I don't think you see this, but this is Glendale, but it was called Cunningham. No, sorry, it's not very visible. Right here, and here is Glendale Inn. If you continue on North Main Street, there are many more impressive buildings that were there in the past, some that is still survived, from Alice Fowler's house on 83 North Main Street to where current Chabad Center is, that used to be a farm, to Sawmill, that used to be box factory the most recently, but a mill beforehand, another mill that was on travel shop. So let's go back through the center of town. We go down on South Main Street. On the right is Quaker's Inn. So this building was a blacksmith shop. This is Station Street. Right here, this must be the Sharon Inn, or where the Wilbur apartment is now. This is the beautiful old town hall. I will definitely post some pictures. That was a gorgeous building. Right behind it was the fire station. If we travel further down on Main Street, we will see Ames Street. This way, it's incredible. There's just one house. So since I'm at Ames Street, this is Main and here is Ames. And when it crosses Pond Street, it comes all the way close to Cottage and Quincy Street. And this is Hammer Shop Pond. That was the first privilege actually on Massapoac Brook. And here is a huge mill. This was another beautiful hotel. I will definitely post picture. So if we continue down on Main Street, there's another place right here that was cottages and tavern. And eventually Elm Lawn Hotel that had also cottages. So if you continue down on South Main Street, just before you hit 95, you will come to what used to be called Paradise Meadow. So it was artificially made cranberry bog on Billings Creek. Here are a few pictures that I cannot not squeeze in. And now let's go back to the center of town. Down here from center of town, if you go down on Depot Street, there was large mill. The building is still standing. This was the original waterworks, I believe. Here was train station. So the original train station was on the other side, on the Providence side. Then we continue. There's a guy on a horse here. Haha. And two people walking. We go on Depot Street. So I believe this must be Moose Hill Parkway. It's pretty cool to see the Beaver Brook with one little bridge, another little bridge. Those are probably bridges as well. Little gazebo. So it seems that it was a popular place to go for a walk. There somewhere here would be the house on the island. And up here, Depot is turning this way, so Norwood Street. And right here, that would be Upland. And this must be Everett. So Sanatorium was right here. So Sanatorium, Sanatorium, both of them are correct. So if I go back on Depot Street, I can show you the train tracks. So there's a train here. So train goes this way and this way towards Foxborough. What is important here that the train actually had train tracks, had a branch right here going to the famous Ice House. There was another train station right here in Sharon. For the first use was for the ice. Eventually it used to bring picnickers to Bookhurst Grove, that used to be right here. And then it also worked for delivering Clark's sherry bitters to Boston and other places. So this is the end of the video. I tried to make it brief, but it was impossible. But I hope that you fell in love with the map, and I hope I was able to kind of give you connections with the buildings on the map. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I certainly hope that you can buy this map for somebody and make them happy. At this point, we are selling the map for only $5. It's a great deal for something that anybody can relate to, anybody who loves Sharon